hello again to maybe one or two of you. It's most unfortunate when that happens with the breaking out of the signal, but I'll give it one more go with the last part of this session, and I'll try and weave it together somehow before it goes on YouTube. Quite a few of these, most of these previous offerings are on YouTube now, for anybody who's interested. Sovereign Earth 1 to 10 at least. A few of you are back, thank you. Fingers crossed, yeah, but here we go. So that, hopefully you got that song, Passion for This Earth I Feel. Yes, a passion for this earth I feel, compassion, which is so, so real. Now, one of the other guiding aphorisms of my life has been, since I found it, probably about 15, 20 years ago, from a wonderful book, a guy called Christmas Humphreys. What a name to have bear in your life, Christmas Humphreys. He was a Buddhist, a Western order Buddhist. But one of the things he quoted from, which touched me deeply and is very much about compassion, he quoted from the Book of Silence. That's a wonderful name for a book. And he quotes it, he talks, and in the Book of Silence, he says, compassion speaks and says, how can there be bliss when all that lives must suffer? How can there be bliss when all that lives must suffer? And the answer comes back out of the silence. Wilt thou be saved and hear the whole world cry? Wilt thou be saved and hear the whole world cry? So they're saying, yeah, how can you how can you exist and how can you have joy when everything in the world suffers? And the answer is compassion in the sense of opening your heart and hearing the whole world cry. That's really what compassion is about. So all this stuff that I'm talking and singing, the gist of it is in the blog that I will put up on the Enchanting the Void website. It's not up there yet. I'll do it after this program. So just taking that theme, let's see if we can do a meditation together on the theme of compassion, and just closing your eyes for a moment and just let's go into sacred space and sinking into the body, into the breath. Yeah, deeply into the body, into the breath. Deep peace. Breath for the sky above. Breath for the earth beneath. Breath for the waters around our lands. So just finding yourself, if you're in your mind's eye, in a sacred grove of trees, a familiar space perhaps, but a safe place, contained, beautiful. Just relaxing, finding yourself, perhaps for the purposes of this meditation, in the middle there happens to be a beautiful old tree. A very beautiful old tree. You may know it, may be familiar to it, might be new to you. So I invite you to walk over to the tree and sit next to it, sit with your back against it, and really feel held, nurtured and nourished by this tree. And the invitation is to fully open the heart. So just taking the conscious awareness to the heart, and maybe seeing if, like the petals on a lotus flower or on a rose, the unfurling of those petals and that around the heart is able to reveal the pure essence, the unmasked heart, and allow it to be, allow it to show itself safely in this place where you are now. An open heart, radiating out compassion. Compassion, a sense of connection and a link with all the other heartful beings in the world. And especially at this time, and given where we are, with this sacred earth, this sovereign earth, the earth which, has so much cause to cry out in pain. But such a beauteous and joyous thing too. And we share our heart space with the earth and all creatures upon it. So just for a few seconds, just sending out a connected, heartful compassion with everything out in this world. And bringing that gently back also then to include all your friends and family. And back to yourself, compassion for oneself. That can be sometimes the biggest challenge, the most necessary thing to do. So with this open heart, shining heart, light of the world in the heart, just enjoying for just a few moments more this deep connection and compassion with all around and with each other in this moment, all of us here, however many, just linking in, connecting. So just before we come back, I just found by chance 5 minutes before this broadcast something I randomly wrote on a bit of paper. And keep your eyes closed for now. So 2 months ago, I wrote that the heart that is open spreads divine radiance. The heart that is open is in resonance with the earth itself. The heart that is open is performing a revolutionary act. And I think an open heart is a revolutionary act. Great courage that's needed. But for now, we'll just gently fold the petals back around our hearts. Petals of rose, petals of lotus, whatever flower in this moment calls to you. You fold the petals back around the heart. You feel the tree behind you. You give thanks to the tree and you take your leave of your grove. Wandering out, but filled still with this sense of compassion for oneself and the world. And coming back into this world and feeling your bottom on the chair and your awareness back into the space you're dwelling in, your surroundings. So I spoke about the need, the great need at this time for compassion for the earth and compassion for those around us. Politics is crying out for compassion. The leaders of our world, it's easy to, it's easy to not like them, putting it mildly. But actually what's needed is compassion in this world. And that's why I'm offering this as a Sovereign Earth offering. All these threads are the things that will carry us through. If anything is to carry us through, it has to be the likes of compassion. And compassion is referred to in some religious texts as the law of laws, the law of all laws. It's also said that knowledge without reference to compassion is likely to spell disaster for humanity. That's an old saying, actually. I think it was Dr. Suzuki, a Zen master. Knowledge without compassion, or without reference to compassion, may utterly destroy humankind. The other thing is knowledge in action is wisdom. Love in action is compassion. So yes, compassion. And I'm going to finish with a song, another song poem that I wrote, which is all about compassion again. I wrote it several years ago as a poem, and in a couple of years later transformed it into a song. I'll leave you with this compassionate offering of a song. The ocean refuses no river. The sky refuses no cloud. The leaf refuses no sunlight. The heart refuses no wound. The mountain refuses no eagle. The lake refuses no swan. The stream refuses no heron. The heart refuses no song. The field refuses no raindrop. The flower refuses no bee. The heart refuses no healing. Let love unfold unto thee. So, with compassion in our hearts, compassion for all beings, and may compassion help transform this world and bring some light and life and joy. And may that be my parting message to all of you. Bye-bye.